Hello, welcome into this mystery reading. I'm Molly, the QuantumLeapQueen. Thanks for joining me on this reading. These readings are a timeless resource for you to come utilize whenever you need some extra nourishment in your life. So trust that if you found this reading today, there is a message here for you. I'm setting the intention, as always, to give you the best messages that you need to hear today. And I'm starting this reading with the Rainbow Tarot. Let's see what we need to talk about with you today. I have the Three of Cups. What else with that? I have the Two of Wands. And then we have the Ten of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles, Death, and the Six of Wands. Okay. Nine of Pentacles. You could have had a situation where someone betrayed you in a way. I have the the Three of Cups can indicate, for me it indicates like cheating. It can indicate that. With the Two of Wands, like, I don't know if you like sense this coming. There's something about that. Like you felt like if you were with someone, they were being unloyal, or maybe you're in a current relationship and you feel that. It was just something, and this could be romantic or this could be platonic, or like, I don't know, something about like where someone dishonored you in a way. That's what I'm getting off the bat. And I think you did go through a moment of death, to be honest, because we do have the Death card out and the Six of Wands. It was like you really had to look at yourself. Just and accept like everything that was there, even though it super wasn't easy. But I think at the end of the day, you still chose yourself and you still chose to walk away with dignity. Even if it was messy, let's say it was messy, you still chose at the end of the day to chose you at the end of the day. And if you're still in a relationship, I think that is what you will end up choosing. You will choose your peace and your own well-being over trying to make it work with someone that has deeply disrespected you. Okay. The Ten of Pentacles and the Three of Pentacles tells me you are more of a strategic person and you think about the long-term game, and you're willing to do what's necessary in the short term and have delayed gratification so that you are able to create what it is you truly want, what your soul truly wants, even if that means waiting longer, even if that means not giving away to like numbing yourself, even if that means you have to sit in the feelings of betrayal, loneliness, being by yourself. Like you're willing to do it because you know what you want and you know it exists. And I think that's really powerful for you. I do have the Nine of Pentacles at the top of the deck, and I just see it as now you're focused on watering your own garden. And I think that's the wisest thing you can be doing right now, is just focusing on you, your life, making it more lovely, making it more abundant, being kinder, gentler to yourself. Those are all things that really pay off. And then the more focus and attention you put on something, then it grows. So you're really focusing the attention on you and you. And I think that is amazing. And I truly think that's going to pay off big time. What else? I have the Queen of Swords. I like that. I see, okay, with her, I'm getting this message of, you've kind of like really set yourself up well. You have become more of the queen of boundaries, and I'm noticing so hard the butterfly on her head, and I just know that it's because you've been through such deep transformation, because as we know, the butterfly has to go from the caterpillar to the chrysalis, where it literally becomes goop. Like the caterpillar literally breaks down into goop, and then somehow magically it transforms into a butterfly. So I think that's exactly what you've been through. You had to like dissolve in a way and rebuild yourself. And that is powerful. And that is what has made you the Queen of Swords, and being that energy of like not being afraid to speak up, to set boundaries. You know, maybe you're not perfect at this, maybe you're learning about this, but you so much more take initiative and take responsibility over your well-being and your peace. So you have no problem protecting that in ways of action. Okay. I also now have the World at the top of the deck. So I feel like you're feeling more whole and complete than ever as you are choosing yourself. And I think perhaps you're already seeing how life aligns to you and how the magic really flows to you when you're operating from a place of wholeness versus a place of victimhood. So that's the magic that you are. What else can I say? Interesting. I have the Hanged Man in the reverse. I get this message of, you may not understand everything completely. Like, you may not understand why that person did what they did, or whatever the situation was. You don't understand it completely. However, it's kind of getting to the place of like either I don't care or like neutrality. Because of whatever it was, it brought you peace. And that's great with you. And it's kind of brought you this knowing that when people mess with you, you're always going to come back to yourself, and that you are your home, you are your safe spot, and that you actually really don't need anyone else to fill that spot for you. Not that we don't open up and ask for help and be vulnerable and stuff like that, but like, you've become your own home, and I think every single human being has the capacity to do that. It's just a willingness to do it if life circumstances bring you into that deep transformation that you've gone through / are going through, and are bringing you to this place of like, okay, even though people been messing with me in the past, or maybe just I wasn't, for sure you're thinking like I wasn't perfect myself in the past. At least all of this knowledge, I'm noticing the ring around his head, like all of this knowledge and wisdom has brought me to this place of like, I can be topsy-turvy, upside down, technically, and still be at peace. Because I see now when, even in situations when they're kind of messed up and everything's blurry, I see myself, and that's my anchor. You're your own anchor now. That's what I see. Any last messages from the tarot before we move on to some oracle? I have the King of Cups and the Emperor. So you gotta know that you are going to find your match. If you haven't already, you are going to find a connection that can actually meet you. Another person who also does not play victim, has taken radical responsibility for their life. King of Cups does their emotional work consistently, does not shift the blame onto other people, does not make you the problem or the scapegoat, like really looks within, and also has the same boundaries. So they're also not going to be walked over. So I just see you finding someone eventually that floats your boat, that actually can meet you, that's actually a match for you. So I think that's just confirmation. In case anyone was wondering, that is definitely on the horizon. Okay, let's pull from some oracle messages. I'm gonna start with the Rainbow Brain Skull deck. What does this group need to hear from this deck? Oh, we got 2 messages. It says, there is more where that came from. And I feel like that's you, like, transforming yourself throughout time, like not being afraid to just like keep transforming and being a new person until you're like just literally light. I love that card. I haven't seen that one. You get to control so many atoms. Yes, again, like bringing back that responsibility to you, that sovereignty to you. That's so cool. I love these. Oh, I didn't even notice. So it's 6 and then it's 6 6. So we have 666 here, which obviously is the devil. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, the 666 was the divine feminine before it was the devil. So very much divine feminine vibes here. So let's look. There's little short messages with these. The cosmos are always evolving, and so are you. So much more is on the way. One day we will understand exactly what this era was all about and why it needed to happen. Isn't that true? Sometimes we go through the toughest stuff and it's like, how could this possibly serve me? And then you find out later why, and you're like, dang, as hard as that was, I'm so grateful that happened and I went through that because it gave me the skill set I needed for this next chapter. So that's it. Let's look at the next one, 66. You are an insanely complex being. You might as well be a galaxy. Don't focus on what you have no control over. Be grateful for what you do have control over. Countless miraculous cells, all vibrating in unity. Yeah. We are all our own galaxies. We all are our own universes within ourselves, truly. We are all whole and complete. We are all sovereign. And this is your reminder of that you are whole. There's nothing missing from you. There never has been. And yeah. Also, I'm hearing this message to say, like, get more into your body. Either movement or yoga or like something where you're moving in your body, dancing, even just a few minutes a day, if you're not already, like that can make a big difference for your energy and your autonomy. Okay. Nice. Let's move on. I'm going to pull from this fun deck I recently was gifted by a dear, dear friend. Goddesses, Gods, and Guardians. So let's take a look at what gods, goddesses, guardians wants to come out today. What's the best message for this group from this deck? Okay, we have Hod. Tell the truth. Tell the truth, Hod. Let's read about it. Hod, tell the truth. Bring it out into the open. Be true to your feelings. Hod is the blind god of winter in Norse mythology. Okay. Let's read the message here. Hod's steadfast presence is here to remove the blindfold from your eyes. He invites you to look squarely at any truth you've been avoiding. Be completely honest with yourself about your real feelings. If you've made a mistake, do your best to make amends. Integrity is essential for a clear path ahead. Sticking your head in the sand only works for so long. The truth always surfaces somehow. Once you face up to reality, you can access all the energy and support you need. Denial is a defensive state in which you refuse to accept the truth. It's recognized as a state in the grief process. Denial, guilt, and shame can go hand in hand. These are heavy feelings. Hod encourages you to get therapeutic support to work through these emotions. Hod is a guide through the dark night of the soul and can help with depression or loss of faith. He supports recovery from addiction, crisis, and trauma. He'll sit with you patiently in your darkest moments, never rushing you to heal. Hod will guide your words and actions in any situation where truth is needed. Yeah. So I think that is perhaps what someone here needs to hear. You know, truly the truth, like, we cannot hide from the truth. The truth is always revealed in the end, and that's why it's best, like, just to be real, just to be authentic, to be in integrity, because it always will come around if you're not. So if there are things that you're currently in denial about, let's say, it'd be a good thing to just, I guess, face them head on. And whether that's you need some extra support on that, there's lots of tools you can use by yourself. But for sure, it's coming back to you and releasing the things that aren't in truth. And sometimes it sucks to look at like the ugly parts of ourselves, the egoic parts of ourselves, but it's so necessary, and it's not something that needs to have shame or guilt or judgment around, because we're all a hybrid. Like, we're part spirit, part human, you know. It's all just electrons spinning around a proton nucleus at the end of the day. But still, it is it's real, and it's really important that we address those shadow sides of ourselves so they don't rule us. If we're ignoring them, then they're kind of our master. So we want to take responsibility, and in a sense take back control of our autonomy when we address reality and what's going on within the dark parts. There's like such a thing about like shaming the dark parts of ourselves. Like, I'm thinking about like organized religion, like it's we're all in sin and stuff like that, but it bypasses actually the treasure and the gifts that we get in the dark. Like, there's so much wisdom there, and we need the dark to have the light, and the light to have the dark. All of it. It's all encompassing. So that's what I feel with this card. Okay, let's move on. I'm gonna pull from the Animal Oracle next. And what's the best message for this group from this deck? What wants to be looked at today? We have Face Your Fear. This is number 38. Let's read about it. 38. Face your fear with the crow. In the forest, crow will often warn other animals of oncoming hunters. Crow comes when a fear or uncomfortable situation must be faced and transformed. It is through facing the fear that the animals in the forest are able to escape and survive. Crow isn't just cawing at you to face your fears. He's asking you to do something with the energy that comes from those fears. Crow is the master alchemist. Alchemy was the practice of transmutation, turning base metals such as lead into more valuable metal like gold. Many alchemists were interested in this science on a psychological level. We can apply the principle of alchemy to our psychological development. Think about the power your pain holds. What if you could take the energy of all your trauma, fear, worry, and doubts and turn it into your greatest asset? Crow says you can turn the energy of pain into your shining light. The key is consistent effort to manipulate your emotions to your liking. For example, let's say you are dealing with a trigger that is bringing up fear. First, accept what you feel, and then choose to transmute the energy. If you are fearful of something and avoiding it, face it and deal with it. If you are lost in a trauma bubble, choose to shift your psychology by movement and exercise. Physiology by movement and exercise. If you are procrastinating to clean. If you are avoiding telling someone your true feelings, tell them. If you feel unhealthy and unattractive, change how you eat and adorn your body with clothes that honor your appearance. If you are overwhelmed with feeling like a victim, create an art project that demonstrates your power. The idea isn't to escape what you are dealing with, but instead face it and then change how you are dealing with it. To face your fears, to go into the dark. This is where the shift begins. Crow's medicine to transmute energy is also your birthright. Take action and transmute your energy. Right on with everything. That is what you are doing, and I think you just need the encouragement or the reminder that you have the right to do that, and you totally can do that. And not to run from fear, not to run from the dark, not to fear it, but to really go into it. Be like, what's here? What can I take away from this? What do you need? There's also a card in this deck called Nourish the Shadow. And that's what it's about too. Like, truly, let's address it. We've been taught so much, like, just through conditioning, like, you know, to run from our fear and to not face darkness. But you'll find, like, we find that there's nothing to actually fear in the dark. That's actually where the big transmutation comes in, is when you're facing your fear, you're looking at it head on. And I know, like, it's definitely not an overnight thing, but it's just a reminder and an encouragement for you to don't run from it, don't ignore it, invite it in, ask what you can do for it, ask what it needs, so that you can transmute pain into power. Okay, lastly, I'm going to pull from the I Create My Reality deck. What's the best message from this deck? Okay. What goes around comes around. Absolutamente. It's karma. It's the law of karma. What goes around comes around. The energy I give is what I receive. What you put out into the world is what you get back. The more you give, the more you receive. The energy you put out will always recirculate in one form or another and find its way back to you. When you give, you expand. Dare to give and to be what you most desire. Okay, yeah, remember your infinite. Remember that. And like it's like that saying, like, we all live in glass houses at the end of the day. Like, you're not hiding from anyone trying to do things in the dark. Like, you don't think anyone's going to see or notice. And I don't think that's you. I think you're more of a genuine, sincere person. But just a reminder that the work, like, the authentic work, the work in integrity that you do behind closed doors is absolutely paying off in the scheme of things. Like, that is energy being poured out that then gets recirculated and coming back to you. Same when we're, you know, being petty, same when we're like in our ego and we, you know, there's what you get, you know, what you dish out is what you give back. So what goes around comes around. I think that is a nice final message for you. To remember, like, that definitely ties into the shadow work as well. When we work on ourselves, when we address our shadows, and when we transmute, when we do the alchemizing of shadow into light, then we're also getting that back. Like, when we do deep work like that, like, I know my, like, people that follow me, follow this channel, like, we're deep, we're in the depths. So when we do work like this, it truly pays off big time, because then we're not weighed down by past traumas. The work that we do truly pays off by getting the weight that's no longer ours to carry, like, away from our systems. And that's not something to rush. That's just something that naturally happens as time progresses and as you keep continuing to do soul work. And then, yeah, so then we're, like, more available for energies that are more of our match as we rise in our vibrations and as we operate more from our limitless soul selves. So know that all the work that you're doing pays off, and that it pays off, that you get reflections more of who you're becoming and what you're doing. So that's it. That's it for this reading. I hope it brought you some clarity, some nourishment for wherever you're at in your life. Come on back whenever you need extra nourishment. My YouTube channel is a whole library of timeless mystery readings. So just pick one based on your intuition. And that's it. So we'll see you guys on the next reading. Bye.